So I want to welcome everybody for joining us this morning. Granted, we are a small group, but I'm sure the group is perfect for today. We've got our people that are online with us as well. So welcome to everybody online. And I just want to remind everybody.
Good morning.
Just about housekeeping, bathrooms are all the way in the back. If you need to take a break, go ahead. We don't take any breaks. If you can turn your phones off, just so we can be mindful of our speakers that will be up here. I am going to welcome the beautiful Sheva to get us centered today because she does it way better than I do. Huh? Oh, no, she's way better.
No.
So anyway,
Well, I volunteered today because when I walked in, I wonder if you saw it as well. The word mindfulness is the word of the day. And so I just want to take a moment to have us be, oh, thank you, Tracy. There's our word of the day. So mindfulness is exactly what we need to give power to anything. So take a deep breath, and mindfulness is being mindful of the moment and just allowing all the sounds, the reverberations of the pickleball in the courts way over there yonder, and the subtle shuffling of people going in and out, and all that we accept. And all the stirring in our mind, we accept. All the stirring in our bodies, we accept the here and now as it is. No changes needed. And when we are in the moment and we start to begin to collect what is, that is the birthplace of dreams. From that place, we have strength to have grounded dreams and visions of what can become. But without the start of mindfulness, our dreams are a balloon that has floated away. We have the power to be fully grounded and rooted while at the same time reaching for all that can become, all the possibilities and infinite amounts of directions we can go. The mindful moment brings us to focus. Can we bring Missy back? Thank you.
Thank you, Sheva. That was beautiful as always. So now we're going to have our motivational moment. Everybody should have gotten a little card with a table number when you came in. So we want you to take a moment to take a look at those. We'll take a couple people. If something really resonates with you, just kind of hold your hand up if you want to share with everybody, and we'll go on from there. Do you have a good one, Kathy? I see you smiling. Are you sharing? If you're smiling like that, I think you should share.
Thank you. I love this. Mine has "There's Only One You and All Time" by Martha Graham.
Yes, love that. Yes, this is true. All right.
Mine says "Fortune favors the bold" by Virgil.
Yes. We got
And then
one more. Anybody else?
Oh,
Yes.
Once you choose hope, anything's possible. Christopher Reeve.
Ooh, we have one for the Zoom. We opened
Karen
it-
must have a good one, so we're gonna let Karen. Oh, yes.
Could Tiffany read this one? I don't know if you
Tiffany,
see it.
can you read?
I can't read, it's blurry.
Can whoever's holding it up read?
Yes.
Oh, that-
Sing your song. Oh my gosh, this is so apparent, so appropriate. Sing your song, dream your dream, hope your hope by the Kanam Beatty.
I called
Perfect, thank you.
patients first. And then I need to go.
Hey, Tiffany, can you have Catherine mute? Oh, did you? Okay, perfect.
I love this one. Whenever I see it, it makes me really think twice. Some things need to be believed to be seen, not seen to be believed. They have to be believed to be seen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sure we have a half a dozen other fabulous quotes here in the room, but we are going to move on. I probably should have let you just keep the microphone, Karen. But Karen is going to tell us about the story of Gateway to Dreams, how this all came to be, and the mission, vision, all of those amazing things.
Now that would take too long, so I'm going to do the short version. On the very back of our program, if you turn there, this was about a year to do. Wasn't it, Kathy, about a year for Tracy, about a year to finish our new mission? Okay, so that meant yes. Gateway to Dreams mission is to inspire action and give voice and clarity to the dreams of individuals, creating a ripple effect that positively impacts the social, economic, and well-being of our community. I'm not going to go all the way back to the drive on Highway 70 to 270 to 70 to tell you how I broke down on the highway and all these people in my life that we pulled together the dream. I'm just going to give you the highlight of it. But a bunch of people came together. We called them the launch ambassadors that met weekly. Tracy was one of them. And to build something, and we didn't know what. We just knew it was about dreams and helping people. And so that was in 2013. It's now 2022. This is our third face-to-face meeting back. And what happens in this room, I describe it as magical. There's many of you that have stories that something happened in this room. So pulling people together, creating a community that is inclusive and the positiveness, you know, like how many of us have someone in our life that goes, yeah, you'll never get that done, or, you know, you could never make that happen. This is the room where you walk in and we say, how can we help you? What can we do to support that dream? That's what this is all about. St. Louis needs a lot of love. We have a lot of love to give. So I did the short version, not the 27-minute. Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's see. At this time, we want to talk about something that's really meaningful and important to Karen. It's paying it forward. And we did forget to put the cards out. After Heidi reminded me. But this came about after Karen Garcia, who was also involved in helping this group come to be, passed away. And so we have cards just. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, but we just want everybody to be mindful of paying it forward. If something has done something for you, it is always just good consciousness to always pay it forward and be kind to somebody else when they need that. So we are going to move on to sponsorship. And every month, we have an opportunity for you to showcase your business, to sponsor the group. It's $100 fee. And again, being a nonprofit, this all goes to help to keep the lights on and just keeping these groups going and, you know, giving back to our community as we do. And this month's sponsor is the beautiful Kathy Lambert. She is also one of the board members, and she is going to tell you a little bit about KBL. And Kathy, please come join us.
Oh, that's Okay. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. And just welcome to everyone. And also, I just want to thank Missy, Heidi, and Sheva, you all the volunteers that Tracy that help out. This meeting wouldn't be possible without all of you. So thank you all from the bottom of our hearts, from the board, and for all that you do too. Thank you. Yes, sorry. But everybody, there's a lot that goes into the meetings. But as KBL Impact Partners, many of you I know, some of you who I don't know, just a little bit of history. My husband and I are the co-founders of Connections to Success, which is a nonprofit organization here in St. Louis. And we did that. We actually started 23, 24 years ago and transitioned within the last year and a half. And after that, just trying to really think about what is the direction, what is it that we're supposed to and meant to do. And we just feel like God was just leading us to helping other nonprofits. So we launched our business called KBL Impact Partners just almost a little over a year ago. And what we do is we now work with other nonprofit organizations, with other leaders, helping them to scale their impact, diversify their funding. And we also do coaching, and we have a 12-week program, a class that's called Frame Up for Funding. And we really just immerse ourselves with the organizations and really helping them to really move that needle so they can really scale their impact and continue to make that difference within our community. So that's what we do. And we're just a proud sponsor today for Gateway to Dreams. And we just align with all of their with their mission. And the Gateway to Dreams impact pillars are entrepreneurial and nonprofit empowerment, social and economic impact, and corporate engagement. And that's something too, as an organization, that we really align with as well. And hopefully with all of you too, helping to strengthen all of you with your endeavors and what you're doing. So thank you very much. Thank you, Missy.
Thank you, Kathy. And Heidi, if you want to backtrack, I did skip over. I need to honor our technology partners that help this come together every month. We have Tiffany Huckelman, who takes care of our Zoom and online people that are there. And then we have Isaiah Bentley, who is with Allegro. Thank you. He is back there. He will help you with all your entertainment and events that you might need to do here in town. So see
and-
Isaiah.
And sound and production.
Yes. And printing. Didn't know that. All right. So we are going to now take our moment. We do a social media moment. So if you can have somebody at your tables, get a picture of everybody and show that on Facebook. Those are the hashtags you can use. So have a little fun for just a few moments. We need to get a we need to get a picture of our online Zoom too. Oh, I'll get behind Karen.
Okay, Catherine, smile.
Ah,
Got it. Thank you.
there, Sheva's getting them. Yeah. We gotta get Pat's Don in with us.
Come on.
There we
He's a tall one, so we just have to all lean down.
Karen, look up.
Okay, look here. I think of that. Is
Yep,
that right at the green?
Yep. yep. Look
Okay,
at the
am I
green
doing that
dot.
right?
Yep. Perfect.
Right.
There you go. We're all in there. You did get it.
Don't forget to post this on Facebook or on the Gateway to Dreams site, hashtag CPW STL or hashtag Networking St. Louis.
These look good, Karen. All right, everybody. Now we are going to move on to getting to know you. This is your opportunity to network with everybody at your table. Each person is going to get a minute to share. And on the table, you will find these collaboration cards. If you have anybody you want to recommend to anyone while you're networking, feel free to write that down and share with those people at your table. Heidi, for those that are on Zoom, Heidi or Tiffany, oh my goodness, tongue-tied today. Tiffany is going to take care of all that online for everybody, so you can collaborate there as well. And we will get ready to start. Are we ready to go, girls? And you'll hear a bell at the end of the first minute. Oh, I'm going to give you, I'm having a little hot flash too. I'm going to do a demonstration so everybody knows what they're doing. And so for you all to get to know me, since we have lots of new faces today. I am Missy. I am the owner of Sage Skincare on the Hill. Our company specializes in all aspects of skincare, whether it's anti-aging, acne, everyday, body. We have something for everyone. Right now, I'm looking for partnerships and connections with med spas and more holistic dermatology offices. In my professional life right now, I am happy to say I don't need a thing. I have everything in order and working on things as we speak. In my personal life right now, I am looking for a bike. I think I want to get back to bike riding. So that is what I'm doing. In the next 60 days, I'm going to be purchasing more product, getting ready for the holiday season. And my dream, which has been my dream for a little bit that I shared last month as well, is to create a nonprofit in my business with the shipping part of my business to work with women that are either coming out of incarceration or whatever the need may be, to be that company within our community that is giving back. And I am happy to say I have met with Kathy, and we are going to be working on that. So I am very excited to start making that dream come a reality. So enjoy your networking time. And I did not. Take a moment to fill out your little paper at your table in your booklet. We'll give you a minute to do that, and then we will let you know when to start.
So Catherine, for us, I put the questions in the chat and they're also on the screen. And so it'll just be you and me sharing. Okay, I guess we can go ahead and go.
Okay, hopefully everybody's had enough time. You'll still have some time as people are speaking at your table, but we are going to get going. There is a facilitator at each table. They're sitting at the end. They will keep everybody on track and they will start everybody off. So Heidi, are we ready to go? All right, we're going to start the first round. 1 minute? 1 minute. Yes, yes. So we're going to start the first round and your facilitator will get you going. All righty.
All right. So Catherine, you ready?
I am.
All right. So we get a couple more,
Oh,
we get a
I
little more
know, I'm
time in
like,
1 minute.
And it's like, so it's the hot flashes and then with the.
I don't.
All right. So you see the questions there in the chat and then on the screen as well. Do you need a minute to kind of think about those answers, or are you ready to go ahead and start sharing?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Oh.
It's just you and me. So.
Oh, I've been writing. I've kind of.
Oh, you're so good.
Yeah. So did you see what I sent
Yes.
so far?
I get emails.
Yes. Got it. Okay. So the
Missy.
power of one.
Okay, so I'm going to continue in my professional life right now. I
Yeah,
need,
but it's been.
um,
I need, will say next person.
open line.
It's time to move to the next person at your table. Please move to the next person at your table.
So what do you need, Catherine?
I'd like to network with potential authors.
Okay.
And in my personal life right now, being, gosh, get over here. This being on the Zoom, being on Zoom is very inspiring and helps me stay connected.
Good. Yeah.
I just need to stay connected with like-minded women.
Actually, that Becky had referred to me from marketing.
And
Kyle
looking
he raved about
for
young.
like-minded
He was with
women.
AN Skincare.
How about you?
Okay.
So
he thinks you're the bomb. Yes,
I'm
yes.
asking them to turn
So,
off the mic while they're
he's a
chatting.
young man.
Okay, so my name is Tiffany Hunkelman and my
Yeah.
company is Lone Orange.
Yeah.
Where, as I
It's
said
time to be
before,
the
we
next
help-
person at your table.
Yeah.
Please
we
move to the
specialize in
next
helping
person at your table.
Helping solopreneurs be able to grow their businesses
We
beyond
did,
themselves.
yeah. Yes, I mean, when we were meeting here
I'm
live,
looking
and
for, I
I
guess,
know you were at
partnerships.
the Impact Awards.
You know, I
that
don't know. I'm
worked
kind of in
with,
a
which was
hibernation
in
stage right now, so
2019,
I'm
but
kind
you've
of
definitely
sitting
been here, so
and
we have definitely
pondering
met.
and figuring out what kind of my next step is. So for my professional life, I just need more time. Professional life,
I know.
things are good. I don't really need anything right now. Yeah,
I know. It's really nice getting back.
I guess my
to,
dream is to be able to help.
mhm, mhm.
Well, so my big dream is by the end of
Yes,
2030 to be
yes,
able to help
yeah.
10,000 solopreneurs be able to grow their businesses.
Oh my gosh,
So,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
So just being able to figure out how to do that. So tell me a little bit more about the power of one then. So I know you said you were looking for kind of a teaching position, but tell me more about your business.
I launched the Power of One.
Please move to the third person at your table. You should be on the third
Because-
person at your table.
One person can make a difference in someone's life.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought that domain name. And what I like about the Power of One is that many times people do not realize how they can impact another person
Mm-hmm.
in business or personally. And so I started off with how my life started, and I ended up training for the Olympics because of one person. And
Wow.
I like people to acknowledge the fact that there was somebody in your life that made a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And so bringing that and highlighting that in particular when I'm coaching someone, I think is very important.
Mm-hmm.
So the Power of One isn't a huge business, but
Mhm.
it's more of a concept
Okay.
that if
Please
you,
move to the next
you get
person
in
at your table.
touch
You
with
should be on the
somebody,
fourth person at your table.
if you get in touch with a client, for example, and they were starting a small business, who was one person that made that possible?
Mm-hmm.
Who is one person that motivated you? Somebody, have you thanked them? Have you gone back? Have you do they realize how important they were to you? And a lot of people they don't think that way. And I like to bring attention to the power of one person and how you can, it's kind of like you said in, the giving back, but it's like there's a colonel in Alaska who was really foundation of where I am today.
Mm,
And picking up the phone and calling him and saying, Colonel Goodman, I want to thank you. Here's where I am. I'm writing a book.
mhm.
That's kind of the power of one.
Yeah.
And I have the power of 1.1. That's my website.
Cool. Cool.
Now, back to you. I wanted to say,
Mhm,
having been in business myself for 20 years,
mhm.
not just consulting, but the bed and breakfast, workshops, training, and also doing being a facilitator in a college about entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
If you ever want to talk and bounce your ideas off of me,
Okay,
I'd be very happy to be available.
good. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, that's awesome. When you taught, where did you do, what facility did you teach in?
Well, I was in the union office.
And
We
guess
had-
where I live? This is why I was asking, because I live in Union.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Yeah.
I used to go to East Central College every week,
Oh my gosh.
and they have Central Methodist University occupies property there, and
Right.
that's their satellite site.
Right. Oh my gosh. What a
So
small
for 10
world.
years.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well,
That's
that's great
awesome.
you live in Union. Well, you're a
Yeah.
little bit far away from St. Louis like I was being in Augusta.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
do you
have
have
you
a
heard
lot of
much about the-
businesses?
Have
in
you heard
Union?
much about the Hoffman takeover?
Oh
in
my
Augusta?
God. Do you have an hour?
Right.
Oh, they
Sure.
bought
But
Pretty much not.
be sure and connect afterwards. You'll have plenty of time to chit chat then. So we are going to move on to our dream tank. So our dream tank is an opportunity for you to share your dream for your business, whether or not you need some motivation or some suggestions if you're starting a new business concept or just want to share an existing business and just need some additional help and support. That is what Dream Tank is for. And now our Dream Tank this month is Miss Velma Bailey of Bearers 2. Velma Bailey is the founder, CEO of the St. Louis Torchbearers 2. She worked tirelessly to turn a tragedy into triumph. In 2011, a boy was shot getting off of his school bus and later pronounced dead. When Velma told her daughter someone needed to do something, Helen encouraged Velma by saying, "Mom, you are the somebody you are looking for." With this call to action, Velma organized a grassroots summer day camp a few blocks from her home in Fairground Park. The original camp effort included Velma's mother, siblings, and nephew as support staff. The program has grown to host a gamut of volunteers who have served more than 500 campers. The work is truly organic. The 3-week camp has expanded to serve children for 10 weeks. After school and weekend programming for youth has been added. Camp Sunsplash, a nonprofit, I'm losing track here. Camp Sunsplash campers connect with cultural institutions, government agencies, and nonprofit organizations throughout the St. Louis region during times when supervision is greatly needed. Do not be surprised if you look up and see Velma leading the children wearing Camp Sunsplash t-shirts, kayaking, canoeing, hiking, or biking in a space near you. Velma continues to be inspired by her daughter and a quote from Margaret Mead: "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. You can help this movement with your time, talent, and treasure. Children who by no choice of their own live in a marginalized section of the city of St. Louis, and you can be the change you want to see." Welcome, Velma. And she was also our Impact Awards winner from 2019, as Karen so eloquently pointed out.
Thank you so much. I am very excited about being here. I am honored, and I definitely consider this a privilege to stand before my peers, my fellow humans that God has created, to be able to care for not only the land, but for his people. I'm going to move just a little bit because I have some things in my hand that I like to put down. I think I'm going to be okay. I'm sorry, with our wellness presentation this morning and participation and the coach at our table, I am going to be okay. I love coming to Gateway to Dreams because this is a place where I really can be free to just be myself and to be able to think about all the possibilities that there are in the world. One of the things that continues to motivate me, in addition to my sweet daughter and Margaret Mead's quote, is Alice in Wonderland. I don't know if you all remember when Alice was wandering through, she was trying to get back and she was trying to get home, and she saw the Queen of Hearts. And she talked to the Queen of Hearts and told her, you know, I can't get home. You know, the Queen of Hearts was saying, what's your problem? And the Queen of Hearts told her, well, a young girl like you should be not be stuck. You should be able to think of at least 300 things before breakfast, you know? So I kind of look at our kids that I work with in the inner city, and they're kids that are just like me. I work in the neighborhood that I grew up in. The park that I serve is about 4 blocks from my house. On good days, I can walk there. And on bad days, when we have limited staff, I drive one van there, I walk home, I pick up the other van, I walk back, I drive back. Then in the evening, I take one van home, then I bring the other one and come back and pick the other one up. So, you know, life is really good. There's always something that can keep you motivated. But Karen invited me here today, and Gateway to Dreams and the woman behind Gateway to Dreams continues to be the wind beneath my wings. You know, God is in all of us, whether people choose to accept that or not. But Karen certainly takes that mission and that responsibility to a heavenly level, and I appreciate that. I like to share with you that the St. Louis Torchbearers too started, and you heard all of those things that happened. But one of the things that we have thought about was that there are children in a place that they didn't choose or elect to be in. You know, they didn't vote and say, here's where I want to land and, you know, be in this space. They're there by circumstance. And for the labels that the children get, for the spaces that they're in and for the behaviors that they exhibit based on the training that they received, really are unwarranted. But we can make a change. I dream of a world where children are in charge. I dream of a world where children are trained, children can lead, children can take the place that rightfully is theirs and be able to not kick older people out to nursing homes, but live in communities with us and thrive. We can thrive and we can all grow together. When we started the St. Louis Torchbearers too, it was just an idea. It was an idea to help some kids. And my daughter, when I told her, you know, what happened, and then you heard what she said. But then I didn't tell you in the little part that I shared that I told her, those people are going to beat my brains out. I'm not doing that. She says, Mom, you've got to push back. That's not what you taught us. I'm like, oh no, here you go. And you know, and those are the kinds of things that we instill in children that will come back to us if we take the time, if we plant in them the seeds that we want to see grown. I don't know if you've been involved in any invasive species removal, but you know, that's part of what we do with our lives, with the coaches, with the wellness. We take out things that don't belong there. And our children have been fed a bill of goods. Somebody's created a paradigm that they can use to make money off of them. And hey, we've got the opportunity to get in the other ear or up in their face. Like I like to tell them, you know, I'm going to get up in your face. But one of the things that I really want to say is that this story is a story of resilience. It's not just a story of response. It's a story of love. It's an opportunity for us to be the change that we want to see, to live out your dream, to be a role model, to take a young person by the hand and let them walk in your footsteps. I'm not asking you to give them anything. I'm not asking you to take something from them, which is their dignity and their pride. There is dignity, there is pride, there is self-worth in working. And there's a scripture that says that, we're working out our soul salvation. God didn't give us. We have to work it out. So I'm asking that the children in North St. Louis be seen as something that is a product of this region. I'm thankful to stand in the space where I can gather children together and that I can let this region be responsible for its children. Because of the benevolence of the region, and just a little bit of background, I am a social advocate. I have been out protesting. I've been out in Ferguson. I was on North Grand. We were standing there, arms locked against the police. But I'm going to tell you, if you get yourself a mission and remember your passion, Jesus went to the cross for his passion. He took his whole life and put it into it. He trained for 30 years and then he took his passion to the cross. But as I started to work with the summer day camp, things started to change. Karen said, if you let people know your dream, that people will help you. And I had this really deep desire to see children be all that they could be. And you know why? It happened for me. And it wasn't party lines. I lived in a neighborhood where the old Sportsman's Park was. And do you know that that park was torn down and many of us were devastated? But what was built in this place was the Herbert Hoover Boys and Girls Club, a Republican institution basically in a Black community. And for years, or at least 30 years or more, there have been children who've been poured into and who've come out as leaders and who are changing this world. But the St. Louis region showed me that when you are sincere and you're honest and you want to support, if you ask, that you can get it. Our children get help from the Missouri State Parks, the Missouri Department of Conservation. It's really the Department of Natural Resources, and a whole list of people. I could go on and on. There are many places that we haven't gone to, that we haven't gotten support from. And we're able to function for 50 days. We take our children on 20 field trips. They get a chance to get information on careers, on self-development, on how to reduce violence, how to change their anger into a statement that can make them responsible for their behavior and helping their friend change. But my request to you is, with my last minute, is I heard that I can make out a request. But my request is that all of you take an opportunity at some school or some small children's organization in your community and make a difference. There was a gentleman at our table saying he wanted to do fashion design. There are many children in high schools who are trying to get into fashion design. Our kids that I work with, we need volunteers. We need people with talent. We need people with time. I need somebody to help us develop a fundraiser. We have a lot of good parents, but unfortunately they've grown to the place where they need some support in developing some of the basic skills. We've had opportunities to take some of our families places. And can you imagine, in closing, that a grandmother, her daughter, and the grandchildren all were at Grant's Farm. The grandmother's more my age, that they had never been there before in their life. Just think of the difference that you could make if you could help us. So there are some good things that can come out of North St. Louis. And the good thing is you can be the change. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Velma. And if you want to learn more about torchbearers, she's got a whole section set up in the back. Please get with her after. And if you can help donate time, money, whatever you have, please see her. All right. Now we are moving on to our educational speaker for today. We have the beautiful Shelley Snow Pordia with us. Shelley is a novelist, self-publishing coach, and screenwriter. She is author of the Tracing Time trilogy, a story which spans 3 generations of women who find their way in the world while seeking to save themselves and those they love. A timely message for a planet faced with irreversible damage. This time travel love story is simply a message of hope and light for humanity and the planet we share. Her first children's book, The Hug Who Had No Arms, debuted on Amazon as a #1 bestseller. Inspired by the pandemic, when the world seemed to stop hugging, she took to her love of drawing and storytelling to create a book for families to cope with the practice of social distancing, as well as celebrate our unique differences and ways we can show love through them. Having a bilingual family herself, Shelley's passion to have multilingual versions of this book has turned into a Hug Fest series with translations currently in Romanian, Parisian, and Spanish. Shelley is also a cult survivor, using her voice through the power of storytelling in order to elicit change. Today, she advocates for survivors of spiritual, sexual, and institutional abuse and is writing a memoir and screenplay about her experiences. Shelley, welcome. And we're so excited.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to set my notes here before I begin, so bear with me just a minute. No, I just, sit back and twiddle my thumbs most days. No. All right, and does this work as well? Okay, yeah, cool. Do I have to aim it that way? Oh. Yeah, cool. Perfect, thanks. Let's get going. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Karen. I love some of the things that Velma said about her, because she really truly is a facilitator of dreams. So if you don't know Karen, please get to know her better. Those things on the screen: novelist, screenwriter, speaker, self-publishing coach, and cult survivor. I have not always defined myself as those things, but after knowing Karen, I have been able to embrace some of those dreams. So thank you very much. And define. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that today. First of all, how many in here love football? Like every Sunday, you are watching football. Oh God, I love St. Louis because we're like, nah, but do you want to talk about the Cardinals? Same, right? But we don't have time for that. But yay, go Cards. Okay, so through a show of hands, how many of you attend or host a Super Bowl party every year? No? Oh my gosh. Well, that's at least a lot more. Okay. So there are 3 reasons that I love Super Bowl parties. I 0% watch football throughout the year. Don't care. I pick the jersey that I like the best and I go for that team during the Super Bowl. Okay. But I love Super Bowl parties. Can you tell me why you think I like Super Bowl parties? The food. Yes. What's another? There are 3 reasons. You got to guess them all. The commercials and the halftime shows, especially when J-Lo shows up. Yes, so those are the 3 reasons. And there are times when I find myself thinking about Super Bowl commercials and bringing up YouTube videos from years ago, right? Why is that? It's because I believe the story you tell is actually the product that you're selling, or maybe the service that you sell in my case. Well, have you ever run an ad in your business that you put time in, you put money into? Well, first of all, let me ask you guys a question. How many here are entrepreneurs? You own your business? Yeah, okay, that's the majority of the room, I thought so. And how many of you are a team of 1 or 2? Same. So now I can ask you the question. How many of you have run an ad on Facebook, or you have done a promotion like limited time only, get this much off, and you have had no takers? Anybody? Just me? If you have never, you should probably run more ads or promotions. So the story I tell myself is, oh, I suck at this. I really need somebody else to manage the system because I suck. But actually, the real story is that we live in a world full of algorithms, and I'm trying to beat them, and so are you. We are overlooked daily because the human mind cannot process the information that is thrown at us every day. And all I need to do is keep going, right? So I've given you 2 examples of like the story. The story works for the commercial and the story works for what I tell my own self. So how does this relate to your own business? Well, 82% of small businesses say that their revenue or their business comes from referrals. Now, referrals are essentially, what do you think I'm going to say? Stories, right? When you hear somebody say, oh my gosh, I found the best landscaper, like I had the worst weed problem and we had tried to do it ourselves and this was our 14th attempt. And finally, I'm like, dude, call somebody. And we called and it was amazing. They came in, everything was done in a day and I have no more problems. Now, the story you're hearing is like, oh, that backspace that I can't ever deal with. And I don't go outside because of the crazy critters that live there. Like I could live that life of having a glass of wine on my porch again. Right. And that's like the story you believe. Well, when you're dealing with your own story, it could get a little bit complicated. I guarantee you there's a reason that you do what you do. And I'm just here to ask you, have you embraced those reasons? So the last, oh, I'm not up there anymore, but that's fine. I'm right here. So the last description on the screen said that I am a cult survivor. I don't use that word lightly. Actually, there's a man, he calls himself the cult expert. And if you're interested or if you have any experience with a high demand or control group, I would recommend his work to you. His name is Steve Hassan. And he developed what he calls the BITE model, B-I-T-E, behavioral, information, thought, and emotional control. If these things, all 4 things are happening within the space that you are in, you might want to examine that you are being led by a cult. Well, I was born here in St. Louis, Missouri. Yay. Right down South Broadway. I'm like, why did I just blank on my address? But when I was 4 years old, we moved to what I call headquarters. It's not officially called that, but that's what it is, in my opinion. And we were following this bombastic preacher. In fact, that year in 1974, he was featured in Time magazine, not on the cover, no, but he was one of the big guys with Billy Graham and all the other names that you might have heard. And we drove up there and we moved our lives there. And there was like 5,000 to 7,000 people on campus every Sunday. And I thought the entire world was right there. My world certainly was. And progressively, it got worse and worse. The behavior, the information control, the thought control, the emotional control, what I was allowed to say or feel. There were feelings that were prohibited. And so I didn't realize this. I was just a kid growing up. And eventually, after my dad was trained there, we moved back to St. Louis, Missouri. And I had to deal with the real world because we didn't have the big cult here. We had just had little churches that were affiliated with them. And I won't go into most of that story because I'm trying to keep this within my time limit. Is somebody keeping me aware of that? Okay, cool. And we lived here and I grew up and I became an adolescent. I was basically an adolescent when we moved here. I had turned 11. And so those years, I mean, like in the 80s, I wanted to just have fun. Like, you know, girls just want to have fun, guys. And so I would do, you know, these forbidden things like take my radio in my bed, because that's what we used to listen to, guys. We didn't have phones. And so I would take my radio and I'd hide it and like jam out to Belinda Carlisle and memorize all the words. But that was against the rules. And then I would sneak out with my friends. Well, I would actually have permission to go out. You know, like I knew how to play the system. I would sneak out, I would go out with my girlfriends, but I would sneak my brother's pants underneath my big long flowy skirts. I just wanted to look normal. And I pegged my pants so my parents couldn't like see under the skirt. And then I'd like take the skirt off and I'd like be out in the mall back in the day when this place was like hopping and that's all we would do. Yeah. So those are the kinds of things that I would do. But then one day, my brother, who had convinced my parents to let him go to the public school, got nominated for homecoming court. And he was not allowed to go. Because my brother, told my parents. I'm just like, dude, I'm so much better at this game than you are. So it just was not pretty. And he ran away when I was 16. And so that changed my life forever. I don't blame my brother for what I've been through. He heard me give this talk once and he was just like, oh, I'm so sorry for all the things I caused in your life. I'm like, no, dude, that's not how it went. But that did change me because I didn't want the people praying at midnight for me to be brought certain condemnations and woes upon my life so that I would be brought back to the fold like they were praying over my brother. I didn't want them to expect me to fall on my face and fail. Got 5 minutes. Okay, thank you. I wanted to be okay. And so I went off to headquarters and I trained for college there and met my husband. He was not raised in it. In fact, he's European fully. And we moved overseas after I finished college. He was like, this is crazy town. I'm going to leave. But he didn't leave soon enough because I fell in love with him first. And so he said that I dragged him in and then I dragged him back out because I was really scared of the wrath of God falling upon my life. But eventually we moved away to Europe. Like I said, I lived there for 15 years and I slowly unraveled the story of what I was. It took me about 10 years, to be honest, to be away from it and to understand that this was my experience. I came to grips with the fact that I was sexually abused as a child in a culture that just abuse ran rampant and it was justified. And so that story was hidden for so long. And even when I started writing and, began this career a few years ago, that was never in the forefront. But I had to ask myself the question, what story makes sense for me? How authentic am I being? And I'm not saying that I want to share every gritty detail with you because I won't. I might in a mini series. I won't today, but it drives my work today. So I'm going to go to the next slide so I can give you this practical thing. And these are just a couple of writing prompts. They're not my own. They are adapted from a teacher that I had, but I use this for a grand question. And I also use this for little projects. And this is how I think it can relate in your life. I'm not asking you about the why, like my kids and my grandkids, by the way. I have a granddaughter and she's amazing. Anyway, I'm not asking for that why. What I'm asking is like when you're looking at a product, you're looking at a project, maybe you're looking at a blog post or Facebook post, or you're looking at your website copy. What do people believe? People believe blank, but I think blank. This is my reason. And you can use this for overall my business. And also you can use this for small projects. So I'm going to give you an example. People believe that cults are hidden on a mountain with a long robe wearing guru. But I think that we were all just hiding in plain sight. Yeah. And so that drives my work right now. And it might not always. That's why I said with every product and every project that you use and do, you can use this little writing prompt. What is that why? And my end goal. So I want you to do a little bit deeper with this, and it looks so simplistic, but because you're going to be specific, this might be a driving thing for every product, word on your website, blog post, social media that you use. I use this for this talk, to create this talk. Every blank can blank. What do I mean by that? So let's say, well, I'll just use my talk for today. Today, I came to a meeting of entrepreneurs. So every entrepreneur can find the meaning of their story in any product or service they sell. That's what I use for any product that I have. Any website copy. I wrote a poem and posted it. I think yesterday it went out because I scheduled those suckers. And when I did that, it said, it was like about how people can find their own magic. So it's not for everybody, right? That was every person who is dealing with self-doubt can remember that they're made of magic. That was my goal. That's it. It's not for everybody. If you're not dealing with self-doubt today, maybe that poem isn't going to resonate with you, but it makes a difference because that visibility online and the algorithm that we all love, that's what matters, right? We have to tackle each thing. So this is me. Oh, if you want to follow me on social media, you can scan that. I do have a few of these in the back just to take a look at because I sold out at my last event. It seems like we are hungry to get together and I did not prepare well. This is my newest product. Oh, okay. I think some of our fonts didn't agree with each other. So my newest product, I think, is amazing that it lines up with today, Creative Mindfulness. It is a book available exclusively on Amazon, but it comes with a free course. So it's all about journaling and being in contact with your creativity, because I believe creativity matters. And then the last thing I'm doing is giving away this free ebook. I think I have it on the back table. Yeah, it has a QR code. So my first book that I am pitching to become a movie next week. I'm going out to LA on Friday, so wish me luck. But my first book is available for free on Google Books. So if you would like to have that, please, that is my gift to you today. 0 minutes, I'm done. How'd I do?
Thank you, Shelley, for sharing. Does anyone have any questions, comments that you would like to share with Shelley today? Oop.
I was just gonna say that I'll also be out in LA on Saturday.
I'd like to ask a question.
Are you presenting?
Can you hear me?
I can. I'm trying to see if they can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear Tiffany.
Oh,
Go ahead,
could
Catherine.
I ask a question, Shelley? This is Catherine Frazier, and I happen to be in South Carolina. And I love your comments and your sharing. I'd like to ask you to give, I'd like to hear about a day in your life when you're writing. What are some of the tips as an author that you could offer to those of us who'd like to be an author?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's great. That is actually one of the things that I do. I'm moving away from coaching. Oh gosh, individual coaching and moving toward an online platform where you can just download the stuff of all of my things so that I can free up my time to do more of what I love. But the first thing that I always suggest to people is to give yourself a time limit, whether it's 10 minutes or an hour a day. Sit down and write for those minutes, and then assess after a 2-week period how much time you actually spent. So it's a little bit of work. You have to understand your timeline, and then you have to take notes on how much time you've spent. And then at the end of that 2-week period, you know what your actual writing time and how it fits into your life is. Right. So maybe your goal is an hour a day, but you only get to like 30 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever that might be. So you just add that all up. And at the end of that 2-week period, you take the average and you say, hey, I can do this for 4 days a week for this amount of time. Does that make sense?
Sounds great.
Yeah, that's part of my process.
But you said you were self-published.
I am.
So,
yes.
Do you have the same company that published you continually publishing you, or what does that mean?
Yeah, so I actually started with a hybrid program, which means that I bought into a program that taught me how to do this, but now I know how to do it all, so I do it myself.
Oh,
so it just depends on, and then like I said, I have done individual coaching. I still do individual coaching, but I'm not taking on new clients because I'm moving everything to an online platform. So it's completely self-directed, which there are other businesses that do that. It just isn't always super affordable. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
That was amazing. Just watching you share from your heart, it's been a journey, and I am so grateful to be witnessing. And I'm just curious in terms of when you talk about mindfulness and how to support somebody who might have a mindset that is in a place that seems self-destructive, or how do you best support that person? How could I best support you in that place just to help or somebody else?
Yeah, I think that's such a tough question because a lot of times the things that I think are beneficial for you are not the same things that you believe are beneficial for yourself. So as an outsider or as even a mom, right? I have 3 children, 3 adult children, and they have all at some period dealt with anxiety, and to try to bring them into my own mindfulness journey doesn't always work until they're ready. So my first thing would be like, do they need professional support? I think my personal thing was actually, I'm going back to therapy. That's what I'm doing for myself. But as far as just supporting a friend, that change of mindset usually comes from me to you by you believing what I'm saying, right? So what I mean by that is, like, I can tell you you're beautiful, but unless you believe that for yourself, it's not going to hit the same way, right? So supporting a person in that might be like just turning the negative comment that they made about themselves into something positive when you're with them. I think there are a lot of resources that are online that you could find. There are many books written about the subjects. But I'll tell you, when I was going through a really dark space and trying to deal with like, hey, what do I believe and what do I not believe? Because after being so indoctrinated for so long, it's like, screw you all, I'm leaving, you know? And I had a friend send me a book about his belief system. And I was like, this is so unhelpful right now. Like, do you get what I'm going through? So I think it just depends on each situation of how you can be supportive to that friend of that mindfulness journey. But that's really one tool, is to take that negative and turn that same, let's say that I'm like, oh my God, my butt looks so big in these jeans, right? And my friend can be like, you're like, you got like the nice round butt that everybody, whatever, you know, like you can just turn it into a positive, whatever that is. And so with those patterns, I do believe change comes, but it's a long journey. I've had 3 highly anxious children. I know.
Okay, that's all the time we had for
Okay,
questions.
thank
but
you
thank
so
you,
much.
Shelley.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Shelley, for sharing with us today. All right, we are moving on to our personal story today. We have the amazing Reverend Pat Powers with us. Reverend Pat Powers is an ordained minister with the Centers for Spiritual Living. Rev Pat facilitates workshops and weekend intensive, teaches classes, speaks to groups, both large and small, does personal coaching, is a fundraiser auctioneer, has performed stand-up comedy, and sung the blues for hundreds of conference attendees. Reverend Pat teaches a powerful, positive thinking, spiritual philosophy to the seeker, the cultural creatives who are looking for love, inspiration, and fulfillment, and a way to leave the world a better place. A new one-woman show is on the horizon, Chapter 4, Act 3. I can't wait to see that. And her philosophy, life is good all the time. And I agree. So welcome, Reverend Pat.
Thank you. I heard I might have some cheerleaders out there. Hey, you know how good it feels to stand up here and be alive, face to face, ready to see you? Oh, it is awesome. Many of you in the room, especially those who came to see me. Hi, Vic. Hi, Karen. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Jean. Hi, Jean. I am so honored to be here. Many of you know a little bit about my story, but you probably don't know all of it because about 5 years ago, I pretty much disappeared. What happened to me is an interesting story. But before I get there, I want to talk a little bit about who I have been. So I came into the world as a middle kid. I had a loveless marriage for my mother and father. So I have a sister 6 years older and a brother 6 years younger. My bio dad walked out at age 5 for me, and I was abused by my stepfather from age 6 to age 19 when I left home. We had a middle-class family. My mom stayed at home. There was no money for college, so I got my master's at age 50. But I carried around with me something called victim mentality. Anybody know what that means? That means I felt like I was a victim all the time until I didn't. So it was done to me in the first act of my life, and it was done by me in the second act of my life. In the second act, that's when I'm getting my education. That's when I'm getting the house, the husband, the children. I'm learning who I am and what I want to do. And then in the 1900s, 1994 to be specific, not the 1800s, not horses and cowboys. No, the 1990s, I found a philosophy. I found a way of life in the science of mind. So that led me on to 30 years of study, to 20 years as a minister, to 5 years serving as a hospice chaplain. And during that time, I healed myself. During that time, I had to use many modalities to transform. And I continued to study and to deepen myself. So the first thing I know is if you believe you can, you can. And the second thing I know is if not now, then when? So I have set all of those things aside because life came about. So how I got here, this is my PowerPoint. No, it'll be fine. So in 2017, only 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with bilateral breast cancer. Now, most of you in this room don't even know that about me, even though I was very public and I was very out front on Facebook and you could see me every day, but nobody saw my dark night of the soul. So this breast cancer that I had a BRCA study done, just like some of the others of us have done, to find out if breast cancer was in my future. And the BRCA study said no. And yet I was diagnosed with 2 different cancers, one in one breast and a different kind in the other breast, because I lived near the landfill at 70 and 270. The environmental Manhattan Project, the radiation poisoning had affected my health. So what I did is I decided to take that on and to heal myself and to have none of the naysayers even know about it. I didn't want the, oh, I'm so sorry you have. I didn't want any of that, so I just kept it to myself. Except I had a bad shoulder, and to have radiation therapy under my arm, we had to tie this arm behind my head 35 times for my radiation treatments because they were doing both underarms at the same time. So my underarms turned into hamburger meat. I was put on hormone blockers because these were estrogen-based cancers. So now we've messed with my hormones and my mood. I'm having to go ask for help because I have to take a pain pill before I can go to radiation because they're going to pull my shoulder back for an hour. And I had to ask for help. I, the one who gives the help to everyone. I'm the one who drives you to the doctor. I'm the one who sits with you and helps you understand what you just heard. And I had to ask for drivers to take me to therapy, to take me to radiation. Oh, that was a hard thing. So I got through that, partly because my daughter was going to have a baby. And so I had this idea that I could live through anything to get to that baby. Because my husband had the 5-year-old. The little boy and the grandpa were like this. So the new baby was going to be my baby. Okay, you with me? Then 2018 rolls around and I have heart failure. I get through the freaking cancer and I have heart failure. Now, we have to watch what we say, ladies, because I prayed that I would not have an ugly cancer death and that I would die in my sleep. And what I found out in an overnight study was that I was 2 breaths away from when you die in your sleep. So I had immediately to deal with this crazy heart disease. Now, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't walk to Gateway to Dreams because I didn't have the breath to get from the pizza factory all the way down to here, much less come from the cheesecake factory. So I stopped doing much. I literally, my heart was so bad, I couldn't walk to the front door without pausing and having support. So the doctor told me lose 65 pounds or die. Now, at that time, those of you who know me know I was a pretty big girl, and I was pretty proud of being a big girl. I didn't care because I made myself look shiny and sparkly every weight I ever reached. But when you're tapping up to 300 pounds and the doctor says lose 65 or die, and I have my new baby Lucy, but I don't want to die. So, along with the hormone blockers, which messed with my hot flashes, which caused me to have to take another antidepressant to control the hot flashes, now we're going to add diet pills. So now we have diet pills in my life, and I'm dropping weight like crazy, and I'm looking pretty good, and I release that 100 pounds. Not 65, I didn't stop there. I got to 100 pounds down, and my husband suddenly drops dead. I have the marriage of everyone's dreams. I have a man who cooks. I have a man who takes children to places. I have a man who's a great grandfather, loves his grandchildren. He fixes things. I had the marriage everybody wants. Does Art have a brother? Does Art have a brother? Can I get on the list? If something happens to you, can I be on the list? We had a list. It started with Beth Ann and Camilla and Lynn and just kept going on and down. I got a call from a friend her name was Mary Ann Costello. She used to sing at the Center for Spiritual Living. She called me from Albuquerque and she said, I want to be on Artie's list. I said, what do you mean? You want to be on Art's list? You don't have enough money to join this list. These girls have a nice amount of money and are professionals. She said, tell Artie I got a 40-hour-a-week job now. So that was always the joke, is that I had this fantastic marriage. And so the dark night of my soul came when that phone call came, because it was so sudden and so unexpected. And he was loved by everyone. All the women loved him because he was a man's man, but he'd rather be in the kitchen with us than outside grilling with the men. And if you ever smoked cigarettes at the Center for Spiritual Living, he was around behind the church with all of you, church ladies. So now my husband's gone. I'm used to being loved and honored and cherished and taken care of and having my person, and my person is gone. So having been a counselor in grief and dealing with hospice for all these years, I knew grief. I didn't know a thing. Until I was in it, I didn't know a thing. So now I'm in the middle of grief, and there's something called anger that comes up. I had been very much in control of myself because I'm a spiritual person. You see, so I had not been angry. We didn't yell at our children. We made an agreement that we would not yell at our children. My children had never seen me angry. And so all of a sudden, there's an edge to my voice. I don't even like the way I sound. There's an edge. Everything, I'm angry. My son lived with me and he couldn't do one thing right. If he mowed the grass, he didn't do it correctly. He's almost 40 years old. What the hell am I doing telling him how to mow the grass? Because I was mad. I didn't want him there. I wanted to be alone. I wanted to have dates. My husband's gone. I'm not going to live alone the rest of my life. Well, my son lived with me. It made it a little inconvenient. So I met a man in Kentucky. I told everybody, I don't want to do electronic dating. I want to meet somebody. So I met a man in Kentucky. I said, I know you drink too much. I've known you for 20 years. He said, oh, it's not that much. It was that much. So in 2019, but he did have a pontoon boat and lived in Kentucky. So there was a lake. And anyway, so in 2019 on that boat, because he had called me, he told me to shut up on our way to the boat. So I decided not to just take a Valium to calm down, but to start drinking a little Fireball along the way. So as those two items mixed together, I took a bad fall on the boat and I broke my neck. I compressed 4 discs in my neck in 2019. I had to have 2 artificial discs put in. I had to have my voice box moved as they did that surgery. And they said, you may be hoarse for the rest of your life. I said, oh, not me, because I'm a speaker. That's not going to happen. And I had to go through that big surgery alone. I have my children, but it's not the same as having your person. So as a result of breaking my neck, I had to have 2 carpal tunnel surgeries because the pinched nerve was shooting fire out of both of my wrists. I walked like a pony. I don't know why it happened, but the little nerve that lifts your toes was affected by the broken neck. So I've lost 100 pounds. I look freaking fabulous. And I have to wear leg braces and use a walker. Who is making up this story? Speaking of story writers, who is, this is not my story. I look cute. I should be able to be cute. And instead I have bilateral leg braces on. Then I decide I'm going to date during the pandemic. I kissed a few frogs during that particular time. And I did find out that most men don't read your profile because I said I am liberal. I said, if you're a Trumper, don't answer this. And so one of the men I dated hid the Trump sign from his front yard to the backyard so I wouldn't see it. And we broke up on January 6th when he said, well, don't you know that? No, anyway, so I blocked him on January 6th. And then, where is Harmony? She's not in the room. I met my twin flame. Oh my goodness, this Irishman, everything popped. I didn't know who, what. In 5 dates, I knew everything about him. He knew everything about me. He met everything on my list, except he ghosted me. He ghosted me because he told me I was too much. Why, you fire on all tens on all scales. You're just too much. Well, then it wasn't meant to be. So I wrote the Irishman right out of my story and continued on. So in 2020, my pacemaker failed, had to have another surgery. COVID hit. I had a shoulder replaced, had both of my eyes done. I am bionic from head to toe. And I tell you what, it has been interesting to go through all of that. And during that isolation, what I discovered is to come out of the dark night of the soul, you first have to believe you're really in it. When I said to my daughter, I'm learning a lot as I'm putting this talk together, she said, Mom, you did not even know you were there until you came out. So I was dark and I was lonely. And in that darkness and loneliness, I took my spiritual practice back to form. I began to meditate, to journal, to write it down, to have an affirmation that was plastered on my mirror that said, I deserve to be loved to the extent I give love, and I give it all. I deserve to be loved. I had to then begin to believe I deserve to be loved. I also went back to doing everything that I knew to do. I wrote the list. So I had the list, and you'll want to write those lists down because they're pretty darn good ones. I wanted someone who was going to be spiritually open, emotionally balanced, financially stable, someone who was an excellent communicator, and someone who was physically compatible. So I took a course in miracles, decided to focus on God for a year and do the course. And during that time, one of the classes was about spiritual teachers and spiritual students. And it says sometimes when we come together with our teacher-student or our student-teacher relationship, we're not ready. And what I discovered is I had not been ready when I met my first husband, which most people didn't even know I had. Neither did my children. Why tell them? I'd been married 2.5 years with no kids. What do they need to know? So they didn't even know I had a first husband. So I reached back out to him because I had antique wine glasses that I had carried around for 50 years that had been his grandmother's. After the while, he said, I didn't even remember the glasses, but they were truly his family's glasses. So I decided they should probably be in his family. So I made a phone call, and that was 18 months ago. And I met once again my first husband. I refer to Don as my husband, and he refers to me as his first wife. He had 4. And I have stepped into another relationship where I am loved to the same extent I give love. Don Dickman is here with me. And he has brought the light that brought me out of the darkness. So there is light at the end of the tunnel for the dark night of the soul. And there is light at the end of the tunnel for those of us who feel alone or lonely. And sometimes all we have to do is look back so we can look ahead. Good morning.
Mm.
Don't go too far. Somebody might-
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to share a story. For those of you that have seen the new magazine, Be the Change, I thought this story was so good about her remarrying her first husband. So she sends me a picture and writes the story for me, and we publish it. Do you want to take it from here? I don't realize it until the day the magazine is printed. And here's Karen. She's so excited that this magazine is out. She is so excited. And I open the picture and go, don't tell her. She would die right in front of me. So I just let it ride until about a week and a half later. And I said, oh, by the way, I probably should tell you, we need to retract that picture. So I went to Walgreens and had color copies made with the right man, and I handed those out to my friends. But the story is right there. Any other questions?
Are there any questions for Pat? Good to move on.
Okay. So we are going to give some, what are we doing now, Heidi?
Testimonials.
Testimonials. Does anyone, I know we've had a few shares as people have been up here, but does anyone want to share a testimonial how Gateway to Dreams or connecting and promoting women have helped you in your dream, moving your business forward?
I have one. I remember, when I was going through my dark night of the soul, and I had a belief that I cannot wake up in the morning, that I couldn't function, but I barely made it in time. And I sat here at one of these tables, really shy and timid, and I didn't believe that I could be as amazing and dynamic as the women that were speaking. And I felt kind of on the fringe of this network of amazing love that I saw happening between the women. And I made an affirmation in myself that one day I'm going to know this. One day I'm going to be able to do that. And that day has arrived. Thank you to Karen. Thank you to Gateway to Dreams. And thank you for creating a space where I belong. And I wish that for all of us.
Back here.
This is actually a more of a testimonial for Pat, but it is for the women of this group, because I go way back with many of you, and many aren't even here. When my community, my healthy community, when I moved to St. Louis from my hometown in Wisconsin, my community showed up inside church, and it was the women. It was the women. 100%. It was the women. I was able to introduce my mom and my bonus dad, who you will hear me talk about. The hawk is my bonus dad. When he crossed over, we had just introduced my mom and him to the Center for Spiritual Living. And they were introduced to a community, an entirely different way of living and being that they embraced and they loved. And they fell in love with St. Louis because of that community. And when he unexpectedly passed away, very unexpectedly passed away, my community drove to my hometown 6 hours away to hold the most absolutely beautiful of services that community has ever seen. And I thank you and you, all of you, for holding true and strong to your dreams. So thank you.
Michelle also held up her hand. So
You can't tell them it's down to one.
that's so most of you in the room know me. I'm Michelle Petrelio. My business is Celebrate Her Style. I've recently taken a full-time position that maybe you've seen through Karen Hoffman's post, or my own, that I'm with Soma Intimates down in Chesterfield Valley. But the power of Gateway to Dreams and connecting and promoting women is like none other. There's a young woman sitting at our table. Tracy, I was late today. Side note is I've just been caring for my mom with a small procedure she had done, and she just can't get to the spot on her back. So Tracy sits me at this table and I look over and here's Millennia Simmons, who I worked with at a part-time job before I took Soma, the position at Soma, as an assistant manager. And Millennia and Karen connect last week, Karen, you were out there, right? Karen came to see me. I tagged her for the $29 bra sale. She didn't make it. So she still shows up. The two of them connect. They connect on the parking lot even. And here she sits today. And when I left Schlesinger Group, I offered to Millennia to be a mentor. And I just really wanted to pour into the young woman, right? And so I'm so honored by this group and all of you to just be part of a community like you just explained, that there is no other. The power of synchronicity, all of it, what we manifest and what we give and the love that we give and share is just amazing in this group. And Karen, love you to the moon and back and around so many times I can't even express. And all of you as well. Mwah. You too.
all right.
Millennia, will you please stand up? That's what happens. So we're walking out to the car and she wants to see the Be the Change magazine, and I want to give it to her, of course. And she tells me I was a journalism major. Okay. We don't have anyone on our team that is of color. And I'm like, you want to write for the magazine? And so Velma, she reached out to you to do a story on you, and you haven't gotten back with her, but you will. Velma. And we're introducing Millennia to DT, who is an amazing man doing amazing things in St. Louis. But for me going out there and what did you say the sale was on the bras? Okay, so I went out there. I didn't look at the price tags till today. I only looked at the one that you told me to wear. Two good things. So I looked at it today and it was a $64 bra for $9.99. So if you haven't been out to the Soma in the Old Talbot, that she takes all the time in the world to make sure it fits, tells you what you're doing wrong with. Oh, excuse me, there's a man in the room. I'm going to stop now. But anyway, I wanted to make sure the group met Millennia too. She may be calling you.
Could I ask Velma a question? Karen? Hi, Karen.
Can you guys hear us? Catherine online has a question for you all.
I wanted to ask Velma a question. Velma, were you in the military?
I'm not sure they can hear us, Catherine.
Velma, were you
We
in the
can hear you. I'm
military
reading.
prior?
Military, thank you. No, I've never been in the military, thank you.
Okay. Well, I've been looking for a friend who's named Velma Bailey for quite a few years, and I thought maybe you were her.
That would have been so.
Like, I am not. You're just that much closer. Yes.
Hello, I'm Millennia Simmons. I thought I should say something since Miss Karen had me stand up. But honestly, I just want to thank everybody for, giving me the openness, Miss Michelle, Miss Karen, even Miss Becky, who I just met because we were both lost in the mall this morning. But honestly, the 3 stories that I've heard today, they have actually kind of highlighted a journey that I'm going through right now. I'm actually in the middle of my dark night of the soul, and I have been praying and, putting in that work in for myself. When did I come home? Maybe in I think in the end of May is when I really started going through this, and it's been a lot. It's been crazy. It's been spiritual warfare, me trying to do stuff and, start projects and, finally put my foot down and say, I want to follow my dreams. I want to complete something, and I'm not going to let other people stop me or, my responsibilities, become my excuse or any of that. But it's been challenging. And, I started trying to get more involved in my church. And when I first came into church, I've been praying for God, for like-minded people who we have differences, but, it's not a competition or it's not a comparison, that we all can just be and then, follow each other's dreams and encourage each other. That's all I wanted. I thought I was going to find that in church. And the first time I went to church, I went by myself, and I was kind of hurt because I wanted my mom to come with me, and she didn't come with me, but that's all right. I do have a little sister, so she comes first. But I go in the church by myself, and I'm in the sermon, and actually one of the ministers, he's in a conference, in some other state, and he's on the big screen and on Zoom giving a testimony about how somebody's daughter had been saved and the parents had gotten full custody of their daughter. And I knew he was talking about me. He put up a signal. And a few weeks ago, I went back into church and just on a whim. And I was trying to just ask for some prayer. And he gave me that same signal. So when I saw it on the big screen, I knew it was me. But then I go into the bathroom and in the women's restroom, and I'm washing my hands, and there's all these women behind me, and they're crossing my path. They're all looking at me. And I hear, "Girl, I'm gonna tell you the tea later." And I'm like, "Oh, so I'm tea. Oh no, I'm a little gossip." I'm going through the corridors where people meet for at the cafe and talk to each other, and people are looking at me with the hardest looks, like why are you here, kind of thing. Even a lady even asked me, why am I here? I'm back in church. Honestly, I never even left church. I kept going to church, but this is when I was looking for people and trying to connect with people, and folks asking me why I'm here and all this other stuff. But I didn't let it stop me. I kept going to the groups. I kept going to the youth groups. I ain't connecting with people. But that, and talking about my connections and the things that I desired in my community with Miss Michelle, I got to a better job, realizing my faith and realizing the path that I really wanted to be on. And she told me about this job, and I felt a calling to go here, working and being dedicated at this new job at Soma. I met Miss Karen. And who would have thought, I didn't even finish my journalism degree, but who would have thought that a conversation, just one day, and we weren't even talking for an hour, it was brief. And she's just like, the next day I get a phone call. "Hey, I got 2 stories for you. You want to write for the paper?" I was like, what? I'm like, "Girl, I ain't even send you my resume. I ain't send you no profile. You ready for me to write?" Yes. Thank you, Lord. And then and she wrote on that magazine that she gave me, this meeting. And it's so crazy because this meeting, I woke up at 5 a.m. and I went back to sleep. And then I woke up at 7 and I'm scrambling. I got to get dressed. I'm over here like, oh man, I'm finna be late. I had my mom ask me to take care of my sister, get her dressed and stuff. And I'm like, man, I didn't want to tell her no, because I got to get ready for this. Honestly, I haven't even shared with my mom with this yet. And I pulled out and it was 8:30 and I'm just like, oh man, I'm going to miss this networking. I shouldn't even come. And I circled my subdivision twice. And I'm just like, I rather, I said, I don't think I should come because I think I'm going to be late. You know, I shouldn't even come. And then something told me, still small voice, stop making excuses. And I pew down that hallway. I just want to thank y'all because all of your stories, your story, Miss Velma's story, like I've been hearing confirmations all week. Girls just want to have good fun. Girl, I woke up from a dream last night and that song started playing in my head. Alice in Wonderland. I was talking to my man who's not my man, and we was talking about Alice in Wonderland like a week ago. The spirit, the soul, the night of the soul. That is what I'm in. That is what I'm coming out. This is my light at the end of the tunnel. And I just want to thank y'all so much. Thank y'all.
Wow, what a powerful day. Do we have time for one more? Because we are past our time. I want to get everybody
Yeah,
out
we're
of-
running about 11 minutes behind. So if anyone has to leave, feel free to leave. We have about 10 more slides to go through. So thank you.
I just want to take a brief moment to say in testimony, thank you, Karen, for this opportunity to be in your magazine. I'm not sure how many copies were printed, 5,000, but I was very thankful that Karen invited us. Not only did she invite us to be part of this, she found somebody to sponsor our page. And we added a little bit so we could have a whole page, but this has taken us many miles and it's gotten us at least 2 awards. I'm going to Phoenix in September to receive an award from the National Parks and Recreation Association. And this was one of the 3 pieces that we could submit as an amendment for our application. So I'm thankful for that.
Congratulations. This is going to have to be our last one. So I'm coming around. There you go.
Karen's gonna take over.
Oh, Karen is? Okay, you're good. All right. So we want to now honor our board members who help Karen support this amazing group. And we have 2 of them here today, Tracy Flay and Kathy Lambert. Yay. In addition to that, we have a team of volunteers. We are always looking for more volunteers. There is a card on your table. If you are interested in donating time, money, expertise, we are looking for a slew of things. We need grant writers, fundraising, marketing. We need help here the mornings of CPW for setting up, breaking down. If you are interested even in emceeing, please get a hold of Heidi or myself. Our emails are both up there for you. And we want to honor any new members. I believe we have one here today. Yay. Oh. Hey, Karen, can you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah.
Oh, you've got.
I'm Jen Green. I recently resigned Boeing as a systems engineer. I'm transitioning into like a corporate communication strategy, looking to start my own business as well as first clients.
Amazing. Welcome. Also, how many first-time guests do we have here today? We want to honor all of you. Oh, we've got a nice little
Can everyone
handful.
stand up?
Can you
That's
stand
a
up?
guest. Russ, stand up. There's 3 guys here today, Russ. Thank you for attending. Can I share something about Jana? Oh, okay. I'm kind of a fanatic about business cards, although if you ask me for one, I don't have one right now. But this is a way that I keep track of people, and you can keep it in the car. And you put the cards in there. If you need to make notes about, someone you met, follow through this little zipper. We also have these little bags in there that say like, this one says CPW, but if you go to different events on a regular basis, because tracking people to stay connected is like a big deal to me. If I meet you, I want to collect you. So, and we also have, it's not as good as it used to be, but you get a discount card for Office Depot. For techie people like Jen, it'll be good because you can go online, but when you go in the store, you get 30% off your printing. We used to get about 60% off, but you now have to go online to do that. It's still a great deal. So that's what's in this thing here.
Awesome.
Thank you guys for keeping me on track here. Can I share one more thing? Okay, so last month, Marty was on Zoom and we were talking about Jana and the situation Jana was in. You guys and the people that were here last month donated over $1,900. So she has gotten the money, and what we found is it's kind of hard to do this. It was, putting money in a nonprofit. So if anybody wants to continue to donate to Jana, I'll get her Venmo number or her Venmo or PayPal, and you could just make it direct so that that we don't have a middle person in between trying to monitor it. But you guys and the people, when we sent out an email, you were so generous. For those that weren't here, someone that's part of our community has cancer and long COVID, and she's unable to work and she's trying to get disability, and she was in danger of being evicted. And so that's what happened there. All right.
Awesome. All right. And Gateway to Dreams is a nonprofit. So like all nonprofits, we are in need of donations as well as time if you have it available. But your donations go to keeping the lights on, keeping us here in this space. It goes to keeping our programs going, Joy of Goals, which Sheva in the back, and isn't it Shelley? Yes, do Joy of Goals, right? Right, your book. Okay. Sorry, got you all backwards. And then Shelley, if you want to look at writing your book, she handles that group. CPW is co-chaired with myself and Heidi Maxwell in the back, and there is plenty of opportunity for anyone that wants to be involved.
On this form, there is I would like to donate. Like if you came today and this moved you and you want to support us, you can put an amount in, put your credit card information in, we'll have it secure, or anything else you might want to do on here if you want to join. So just want to make sure if you want to make a donation, you can.
Thank you, Karen. Next is Change for Change. It is something that we do every month when we are here. There's a little purple box on your table, whatever change you have. If you are able to donate and want to donate, please go ahead and fill those little buckets up now. And what do we have next, Miss Heidi? Oh,
I'm gonna do the raffle.
oh, yes, yes.
Tracy, do we have everybody in the?
If you have a birthday.
And we have two.
Yeah, we have 2 giveaways.
Okay. And we did enter one for the Zoom participant as well.
Yes.
Clay Sparks. How many of you know Phyllis Clay Sparks? But we have her book, a little notebook, Never Stop Dreaming. And this is for you to put money in for one of your dreams. And the first, did we get any August birthdays? Do we have? any?
Yeah, Tracy's giving those out now.
Okay, awesome. And then we took out the ones from last month. So this month, we're not going to do drawing from other months. We're going to only have this month's people, because last month we were drawing all these that weren't here. Are we ready for drawing, Tracy?
The board members left their tickets. Okay, so for this drawing, the number is 2057245. 7245. Oh, it's Kathy.
No, you don't get to. No, you don't get to. You're supposed to receive this, and it's a coloring book. And she needs it right now. And then there's another little notebook and a gateway notebook.
Okay, so for the next gift that we have, it is going to go to 7246. No, okay. You want me to redraw? Or you want to re-gift it? I am mixing these up in my hand in case anyone's wondering. Okay, this one is 7242. 7242. Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to end this with our closing quote for today. It is, you don't always have to understand your journey in life. You just need to trust you are going in the right direction, by Stephen Atchison. So that is our final for today. Thank you for joining us, and feel free to stay and connect. And I think we still have. Oh, yes. Kathy wants to talk about membership.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. How many of you enjoyed today? Raise your hand. How many of you have connected with somebody that you didn't know before? Yes? Awesome. I love it. This is a wonderful time. How many of you here first are members? How many are members? All right. So everybody look around, see? So membership for Gateway to Dreams is amazing. And it's $30 a month. And we have that membership. And then we have another membership, which is $60 a month. And what that is, you have access to the facilities. So if you have meetings, I do this. And this is where I can come and meet with people and meet with different clients. Sheva is here also, works out of this office a lot and is here and is so gracious. But it just, and who else? Oh, and Karen, I didn't realize that. Amazing. Isn't it great? So it is, I'm sorry, what did you say here?
I said the $60 membership includes your attendance for CPW as well.
Yes, absolutely. So anyway, just if you're interested in, we would love to have you as a member, either $30 a month or $60, or you can do more if you'd like. And just fill out the card. And if you would please give it to Karen, that would be great. Also, one of your donations, if anybody will feel urged to want to donate as well, to give it to Karen, or any volunteers, and I shouldn't say or, and any volunteering opportunities, please feel free to give this to her as well. And I just want to put a plug in for Gateway. I think my life has totally changed from Gateway. And when I had started with Dress for Success and then Connections to Success, and we evolved into Connections. But when I started as Dress and listening to the women that were transitioning from difficult situations, one of the things that they said, we want to belong to something to help us to move forward. And so we started Dress for Success at that time in 1999, professional women's group, and for women to help them to move forward and just how to be able to network and support each other and develop friendships and a community, right? Well, then I met Karen. And what beautifully happened is that Karen would come and speak. And then, with Karen and then with Gateway. And so we started really working together. And so many of the women have come to Gateway and just flourished because they were able to continue on and to meet many of you. And many of you have supported the women and what they do. And Jana, who she talked about. And so it's been so beautiful. And just to see what happens in the dreams that you all have and others have, and to support them and walk along beside each other is amazing. And so Karen, thank you for your vision. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for the lives and the impact that you've had in my life and thousands and thousands of others. So welcome to all of you if this is your first time. And I love you all. This is so nice. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful day.
Catherine,